Hello, Matt. I saw your link today, your image. You wanted to know a little bit about how you could do this here in Blender. As I see it, you have two buckets and you want to fill this with fluid, and then you want the fluid to go through a hole and then land in the bucket below. I sent you two examples if this is correct understood in your link, but I thought I would just give you a short explanation here what I did. So let's pull this out of the way, and as you see here, I have made two simple balls with a hole in, and they're fairly big. It is like this, as I see it in Blender. Fluid can be a bit of pain in the butt, especially if you're working with very small objects. So the bigger you make the objects, a tad unrealistic, I know, but that is going to make the fluid simulation so much more easier. That's my experience. It can be a lot of hassle if the objects are very small, but I have these two balls I've made. Inside the ball I have then made a cylinder again, which is just, let's put it up so you can see it. This is going to become the fluid amount. Let's put it down again. I have then outside this made a domain, which is the case which the fluid is generated within. Blender always needs a domain to make like fluid and smoke and whatnot. So we need a domain outside, and my domain, if you click here, you can see my domain is 5 meters and 11 meters. It's quite big, but it gets the job done, and it's easier than with very small. Say, if you want a domain like this, real size, it can be a hassle setting this up sometimes. But I have the domain. I then go into my physics tabs here, and I add fluid, and I select this as my domain here. Domain, as you see. Let me hide this away, and we can see I then have the balls here, and the balls I set again in physics, fluid, and I set them as an effector. And then you need to set here some surface thickness, otherwise the fluid will go straight through the object. But then you set here, I tested 0.2 and that worked just fine. And then you need to select the inside here, which is going to become the fluid. Set this as fluid again, and remember to set it as liquid. And then one important thing here is you set this to geometry, because what your geometry does is making this object, generating the fluid from this object. So you don't have, like if you select inflow, it will keep pouring fluid, it will keep pouring and keep pouring. But this, if you choose geometry, it's going to be the amount of fluid you got, and that's it. And therefore you can empty the bucket as well. So set this as liquid geometry, and again you need to remember also on your domain, you need to set this as liquid, not smoke or gas. So liquid. And then what I have done is upping my resolution. I don't want to pull this into a long run, so I have pre-generated this so you can see it at resolution of 200. The first two examples you saw was at 120 resolution. And the more you raise the resolution, the more realistic it will get, but it will take a lot of time to calculate. Also, I have raised here my time steps from 2, 6 and 2, which gives the fluid some more precision in the way it interacts with itself. I have fluid enabled, which means we can see the particles, and then when you want to generate the water itself, you need to enable mesh down here in the domain, and then the domain will be converted into the mesh in here. That's about it. Down here in the cache, I have set type to all, and then I have baked data here. Right now you will see free data because I have already baked, so you can see this, but if I click this, it will say bake data and I can bake it again, but then I need to recalculate at 200. I don't want to do that because I want you to see this. So when done, you can then, I have the domain here and I can take this one which generated the fluid and I can hide this. And in the domain, we can then see the fluid here from the first one going through the hole and down to the next one. There's one problem though I experienced, and perhaps some of you out there know why this is, but it's really weird for me that I have this amount of fluid, but in the lower ball, which is exactly the same size, the fluid fills more of the ball. So this one here fills over the top down here, even though both balls have the same size. But perhaps some of you have some experience in that, but I will show you here just to test. You can see, and this is at resolution 200. But as you see here, for some reason this ball gets more filled than this one. But so I'm not sure why, so you need to perhaps limit your amount or something, or perhaps some of your other guys out there have a clue to why this has happened. But this is how you can set this up. I hope this is helpful for you to get on with your project. Good luck.